Welcome to Working Towards Improvement. Here I am starting a resistance book club, and this month we are doing Democrats 101 and on tyranny. I figured it would be important to start this kind of book club because I actually grew up Republican, and until 2020, I didn't realize the importance of politics. I had told myself I wasn't ever going to vote until I knew what I was voting for. And then in 2020, I was a COVID nurse and I watched 100 people die, and I got really confused why people were being so hateful and what on earth happened. I was having a crisis of faith. I stopped going to Catholic church. I remained a Christian, but it was a whole thing. And maybe I will tell my story in another day, in another video, if people are interested in that. So I really had no idea that I was going to ever vote Democrat. And so when I read this book, I realized this is exactly what I want America to be. And thankfully in 2020, it helped me see all the puzzle pieces. I did not have any idea that I grew up in a cult. And I call it a cult because they watch far right media. And it's not based on any factual evidence. And they're trained to cut off their brain and stop listening to anybody who might be a Democrat. And a lot of that can be because of being pro-life. And so do I understand everything about the Democrat Party? Absolutely not. I need to study more about abortion. I need to study more about LGBTQ. Do I know about the pronouns and all that stuff? Absolutely not. But we're going to go over this book today, and this is what I always knew America, or this is what I believed America was. And I know there's going to be a lot of marginalized communities that say America was never equal. And that's so true. Us white people have a lot to learn, especially with what's happening right now in America is all because of white people. And so I think more of us need to be reading books and learning in this kind of way. So let's dive in. Welcome to June's Resistance Book Club. I'm Amy. I am a former nurse educator and COVID nurse, but I currently stay home with my 3 children, 2 school-aged and a 1-year-old. I love reading, learning, hiking, camping, gardening, and watching movies. Did not know that I was going to be doing a book club related to the various systems we live under, but 2025 is an interesting time. In July, we're going to be learning about fascism. In August, Christian nationalism. In September, related to organizing, how to be activist, especially in a rural area. I live in a rural area. In October, we're going to learn about propaganda and brainwashing. And then there's various other things I want to learn about: racism, LGBTQ, feminism, abortion. There's going to be all sorts of things that I want to include in our book study. I have tons and tons of books, and if you have any other recommendations for anything that would fit this resistance book club, leave it down in the comments below. Whoops. So the book that we are going to go over, the first book that we're going to go over today is Democrats 101. J.M. Purvis, I think is how you say his name, is the author. He's a former educator and journalist, author, military veteran, and also a Midwesterner. I really hope you got a chance to read this book. It is a really, really great book. One of the quotes from the book that I really liked: "The only possible place to begin is with our basic beliefs, our core values, the ideas we hold that are bigger than policies, bigger even than issues." And to sum that up, being a Democrat is about equality for everybody. And I grew up Republican and a Christian, and this is what I really thought America was about: equality, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so in 2020, when Donald Trump was president and I was a COVID nurse and saw 100 people die, and the far right was so hateful, I really kind of had a crisis of faith and not understanding what on earth is going on. So this year has been quite interesting. I really had no idea that I grew up on propaganda, and I've gone on a journey of deconstructing the things that I was told when I was younger. So this is going to be a place for everyone to learn, because I know, as the Republicans, they are trained to shut down their brain and not talk to anybody who is a Democrat. And a lot of that is because of the pro-life movement. It was drilled into my head. Democrats are dumb. Democrats are dumb. All that stuff. So this is really how I have come to define what Democrats and Republicans are. Democrats are for democracy, and that is for everyone. It does also include Christianity. When you're a Republican, it's drilled into your head that Democrats are devils because of abortion. Also, Democrats are just wanting government to work like it's supposed to, regulate our corporations like they're supposed to be regulated. Also, an even distribution of taxes. Democrats live on factual information. All of the progress that we've had today, women getting to vote, to work, people of color having rights, that has all come through the Democratic Party. So I feel like if people actually knew what they were voting for, they would want to vote as a Democrat. And I am going to continue to vote as a Democrat because one day I would like to have universal health care, especially for my kids as well. I want them to have a better life, and continuing to vote Republican is never going to get what I have envisioned here in America. And so Republicans are really about restricting those rights to a narrow group of people. And so right now, and I can't say for sure if Christian nationalism has always been a part of the Republican Party, because I'm just starting now to study all of this. So if you know, leave a comment down below. I would love to know. I probably grew up as a Christian nationalist. But the Republican Party has always been about the wealthy corporate elites, the 1%. Currently, we have Christian nationalists trying to take over our government. The Republican Party has been about racism, white supremacy, the KKK. Since Reagan, the parties flip-flopped. And that is all discussed in this book. This is a really great book. They believe in smaller government, but the reason that they believe in smaller government is because the 1% doesn't want to be regulated. They want to run amok and do whatever they want and not have any stipulations on how they run their businesses. And sadly, a lot of Republicans have been in this far-right echo chamber, which has been run on dark money and propaganda that's all fear-driven and not based on facts. Another quote: "The Democratic Party exists to better people's lives, that we are not just out to hold office, but to make America a better country to live in." And I believe that because all of our progress has been through the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party is for everybody. It's not exclusionary. We don't exclude anyone here. Like the Republican Party, restricted rights to a narrow group of people. So a lot of the myths and fables that they are running over there is that capitalism is good, socialism is bad, and that also government is bad. But capitalism really just means private companies own factories, and sadly, socialism is considered a bad word, but we do kind of have some socialism going on. Medicare, Medicaid, those kinds of things. That is social programs. And so, what I would like to see, and which I'm going to fight for, is a ton more social programs. I mean, I feel like that's the point of taxes, right? I want our America to look like what they offer in Europe. And also, government is not bad. Government is here to help us. That's what government is supposed to do. We're not supposed to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. That's why everyone is so stressed out here. Human rights are basic values, the very core of our existence as a nation. This is not a left or right thing. This is an American thing. And I fully believe that. So it's just wild to me that it's happening here where it's just everything is going backwards. We apparently all don't believe in the same thing. And so I am going to be fighting for our future here. The Republican politicians love the appearance of ideology. They love to dress things up in doctrine to justify what they're doing. And so they have used the Christian nationalism ideology to do what they're doing right now, trying to overthrow the government, the democracy, and turn us into a theocracy and have a government ran by religion while doing very atrocious things to marginalized communities that have been demonized for so long. You know, trying to get rid of the LGBTQ. We've got militia going after our immigrants now who are legally here, going to their own appointments and getting kidnapped. My goodness, it's going to be a long 4 years. So the next book for this month is On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder. He is was a history professor at Yale University, but he has since moved to Canada. He moved there last year. It wasn't because of Donald Trump. I seen an update about 3 weeks ago. He was talking about that. I believe there was some other people who studied fascism that moved out of the country. He does have a Substack if you're interested in following along with him for more information, but it's a very simple little book with some good tips for us, and he does also have other books to read if you're interested as well. The 20 Lessons from the 20th Century. We're going to go over each one of these because I feel like each one's important. He expanded them in the book, but we're just going to go over the main points because I feel like this information is pretty important, especially with everything that's going on right now. Fascists rejected reason in the name of will, denying objective truth in favor of a glorious myth articulated by leaders who claimed to give voice to the people. So fascists, which are on the far right, have elected Donald Trump, who claimed to want to make America great again. But the truth is, our past is very dark. It is not this mythical thing that has been portrayed to them. So our first lesson is do not obey in advance, because this teaches power, what it can do. And so we've seen this. We've seen people standing up, not giving in to Donald Trump. We are having the No Kings protest. We're protesting. We have universities standing up. We have, ordinary people standing up, protecting our immigrants. And just it takes all of us to not obey in advance. Most of the power of authoritarianism is freely given. In times like these, individuals think ahead about what a more repressive government will want and then offer themselves without being asked. A citizen who adapts in this way is teaching power what it can do. So number 2 is defend institutions. So way back in February, March, that time frame, they were destroying our institutions through Doge, which is probably still happening. I haven't heard much about Doge right now. We're having tax money taken from libraries. Public lands are going for sale. Science, the HHS, like pretty much every single institution is getting attacked. And so continue to call your representatives. Do what you can for any institution. Just pick one, and that's your one to try and protect. I have kind of latched onto PBS and public media, and then also public lands. Those kind of have been the two that I've really tried to defend. It is institutions that help us to preserve decency. They need our help as well. Do not speak of our institutions unless you make them yours by acting on their behalf. Institutions do not protect themselves. They fall one after the other unless each is defended from the beginning. So choose an institution you care about, a court, a newspaper, a law, a labor union, and take its side. Number 3, beware the one-party state. Now, this one I'm not entirely sure about or what this is meaning. So if you know, leave a comment down below. The parties that remade states and suppressed rivals were not omnipotent from the start. They exploited a historic moment to make a political life impossible for their opponents. So support the multi-party system and defend the rules of democratic elections. Vote in local and state elections while you can. Consider running for office. So I think this just might mean that be the opposition. Do everything that you can to be the opposition, voting in every single election, that kind of thing. So number 4, take responsibility for the face of the world. The symbols of today enable the reality of tomorrow. Notice the swastikas and the other signs of hate. Do not look away and do not get used to them. Remove them yourself and set an example of others to do so. So we have seen this already as well. We've had, what are they called? Hate groups. We had one in Kansas City. White supremacist, basically, marching around hate groups. We've seen that. The hat is pretty much the swastika of this time. What else? There is a flag that Speaker Mike Johnson has outside of his office, which I forget which cult that is a part of. But there's different various symbols that we see. Number 5, remember professional ethics. When political leaders set a negative example, professional commitments to just practice become more important. It is hard to subvert a rule of law state without lawyers or to hold show trials without judges. Authoritarians need obedient civil servants, and concentration camp directors seek businessmen interested in cheap labor. And concentration camp directors seek businessmen interested in cheap labor. So basically that means don't obey in advance and remember who you are in your profession. So if you're a civil servant, do what you're supposed to do and not what our wannabe dictator wants us to do. Don't be obedient. Be wary of paramilitaries. And we're seeing this with ICE and their fake cosplaying costumes. They have no idea what they're doing. They're just snatching people. And it's scary because how do you know if you're actually being taken by somebody who's supposed to be doing that or not? And then where are you going? Like, where are they bringing them? They're bringing them to concentration camps. This is not legal. They need due process. When the men with guns who have always claimed to be against the system start wearing uniforms and marching with torches and pictures of a leader, the end is nigh. When the pro-leader paramilitary and the official police and military intermingle, the end has come. Number 7, be reflective if you must be armed. If you carry a weapon in public service, may God bless you and keep you. But know that evils of the past involved policemen and soldiers finding themselves one day doing irregular things. Be ready to say no. So do not obeying in advance, and not wanting to go against what we know here in America that we were told, defend our people here. So basically, remember your oath. Remember your oath to the Constitution, not to Donald Trump. Stand out. Someone has to. It is easy to follow along. It can feel strange to do or say something different, but without the unease, there is no freedom. Remember Rosa Parks. The moment you set an example, the spell of the status quo is broken, and others will follow. And I have done this. I have stood out. I have started teaching way back in the beginning on my Facebook page. And I really hope I was able to get some people to think about what was going on. 9, be kind to our language. Avoid pronouncing the phrases everyone else does. Think up your own way of speaking, even if only to convey that thing you think everyone is saying. Make an effort to separate yourself from the internet. Read books. I think I'm doing that. This is why I'm here. I do need to take some more time away from the internet and take a second to think about what is being said from the left as well, so that we're not riling ourselves up and making ourselves nervous. We have to remain calm. Believe in truth. To abandon facts is to abandon freedom. If nothing is true, then no one can criticize power, because there is no basis upon which to do so. If nothing is true, then all is spectacle. The biggest wallet pays for the most blinding lights. That would be the far right. Tons of dark money into the far right. So we have to base our reality on facts. 11, investigate. Figure things out for yourself. Spend more time with long articles. Subsidize investigative journalism by subscribing to print media. Realize that some of what is on the internet is there to harm you. Learn about sites that investigate propaganda campaigns, some of which come from abroad. Take responsibility for what you communicate with others. I have done this. I have signed up for independent media. I have also been supporting PBS and NPR and trying to get a lot of my information from them, because they are right in the middle, and I know it is factual-based information. Make eye contact and small talk. This is not just polite, it is part of being a citizen and a responsible member of society. It is also a way to stay in touch with your surroundings, break down social barriers, and understand whom you should and should not trust. If we enter a culture of denunciation, you will want to know the psychological landscape of your daily life. So I'm assuming that is because they're over there on the far right, riled up by fear. And so if they can, be calmed by us and being polite to them, and not because they're told over there that we want to attack them and we don't like them, that kind of stuff, like to make them scared. Oh, Democrats are bad. And so I being polite to them so that they can maybe think, oh, those people aren't as bad as I was told. Possibly. Maybe that can get some brain cells moving. 13, practice corporal politics. Power wants your body softening in your chair and your emotions dissipating on the screen. Get outside, put your body in unfamiliar places with unfamiliar people, make new friends, and march with them. I have done several protests. I have not gone outside so much. as I should to try and regulate my body from everything that is happening. And I am making a lot of new friends as well. Establish a private life. Nastier rulers will use what they know about you to push you around. Scrub your computer of malware on a regular basis. Remember that email is skyrocketing. Consider using alternative forms of the internet or simply using it less. Have personal exchanges in person for the same reason. Resolve any legal trouble. Tyrants seek the hook on which to hang you. Try not to have any hooks. I probably need to do a better job about this, about having a private life. Probably need to take some time off of the computer and rejuvenate myself. Everyone I think over here is having a hard time. And where are we heading? I don't know. We'll have to see how this goes. Hopefully they will not use our information against us. We don't know what's going to happen. 15, contribute to good causes. Be active in organizations, political or not, that express your own view of life. Pick a charity or two and set up autopay. Then you will have made a free choice that supports civil society and helps others to do good. So I have done this. I have signed up back in February to be a part of my local Democratic meeting or local Democratic Party. I am monthly support to PBS, monthly support to ACLU because they're doing a lot of work helping people with legal battles and suing. Number 16, learn from peers in other countries. Keep up your friendships abroad or make new friends in other countries. The present difficulties in the United States are an element of a larger trend, and no country is going to find a solution by itself. Make sure you and your family have passports. So only I have a passport. The rest of my family does not have a passport. And as far as the larger trend, yes, we've seen this. Other countries have wanted to do far-right politics. And there's been other countries that have been successful in keeping their democracies because of what Donald Trump is doing here. Number 17, listen for dangerous words. Be alert to the use of the words extremism and terrorism. Be alive to the fatal notions of emergency and exception. Be angry about the treacherous use of patriotic vocabulary. I am not sure if I've seen this or not. The Republican Party is very quiet in my area, I have noticed. So I really haven't seen this. So if you have anything on number 17, leave it in the comments down below. Be calm when the unthinkable arrives. Number 18, modern tyranny is terror management. When the terrorist attack comes, remember that authoritarians exploit such events in order to consolidate power. The sudden disaster that requires the end of checks and balances, the dissolution of opposition parties, the suspension of freedom of expression, the right to a fair trial, and so on is the oldest trick in the Hitlerian book. Do not fall for it. We've seen that tonight. Donald Trump bombed Iran. I think it's just a way of trying to scare people. Number 19, be a patriot. Set a good example of what America means for the generations to come. They will need it. I feel like I am being a patriot and fighting so hard for this country, getting out and protesting. And if we can we will get on the other side of this. We can have a bright future ahead of us for everybody after this disaster goes through the federal government. 20, be as courageous as you can. If none of us is prepared to die for freedom, then all of us will die under tyranny. So I am doing my little part. I am speaking up. I am protesting. I am calling. I am doing all the things, and I am starting this book club. And I had to include this on here because this, I feel like, is exactly what I thought America was. And this is exactly the party that I want to be a part of. Because this is exactly everything that I have believed and always believed. And I didn't see how all the puzzle pieces fit together because I told myself I wasn't going to vote until I knew what I was going to vote for, what I was voting for. And So over time, growing up in the far right, I have kindly shifted down and down and down. And then in 2020 happened, and I catapulted over here to the Democratic Party because I absolutely knew that Donald Trump had no idea what he was doing. And also, I don't watch Fox News. So I think that is extremely helpful in learning things because I'm not sitting on there and getting scared about things that aren't real. So anyways, I want to read the Democratic Creed. We believe all people are created equal, that this is America's fundamental ideal. We believe that America is a democracy by and for the people, ruled by the Constitution and its interpretations, protected by the Bill of Rights, and inspired by the Declaration of Independence. We believe these founding documents demand freedom, justice, and opportunity for all Americans, in full and equal measure, regardless of who you are, what you believe, or where you live. We believe that the duty of government is to strive endlessly to make the ideals of freedom, justice, and opportunity a reality for all. We believe that the purpose of government is to protect our nation, defend our democracy, and to endlessly promote the welfare of each and every one of us. We believe that fighting for these ideals is our purpose as a political party. We hold these things to be self-evident. Freedom means the right of every citizen to shape their own life and their beliefs so long as it does not infringe on the rights or safety of others. The free flow of information and movement, the right to privacy, free and fair elections at every level in every place in America. Elections that are fully transparent, elections that are free of the rule of wealth and the wealthy, elections that guarantee unlimited and easy access to voting for every American citizen. Justice means a society where every citizen is safe in their person and in their home and their day-to-day lives. A society where every citizen is treated with dignity regardless of race, creed, or personal difference of any kind. A society where every citizen is treated equally before the law and by the law. A society where racism is wrong, where the discrimination is wrong, where the government intervenes when racism or discrimination threatens a person's basic rights. Opportunity means every American deserves an equal chance to pursue their dreams, to be judged on their ability and their effort alone. Every American child and adult alike deserves the education that gives them that chance. Every American adult deserves the chance to earn a living wage and to work with dignity, a job where pay, working conditions, and treatment are suitable reward for the effort and skill put in. Every American deserves to live without fear of hunger or homelessness or lack of medical care. These things are not only rights, they are Americans' moral duty to provide. Every American deserves to live in a healthy environment that includes clean air, clean water, and safe food. Every American deserves the chance to move forward, no one left out by change and no one left behind, no matter who they are or where they live. We further believe that American democracy depends on a free and independent press dedicated to truth and objectivity, an educated citizenry with free and easy access to information, a nation that accepts and embraces diversity, full financial transparency in election campaigns and political office and in government transactions, an American economy based on free enterprise and protected by the government from the baser instincts of large corporations and the financially powerful. The continued existence of a strong military free of political involvement and financial corruption and dedicated to protecting us against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Educators and law enforcement officers being treated as among the most important parts of society, highly paid and stringently selected, and meeting exacting national standards of professionalism, ethics, and psychological motivation. American citizens who care. Without this, nothing is possible. This is what we believe. I mean, that is exactly what I have always believed America to be. And I know that's not true. There's been a lot of marginalized communities that have never had a true democracy here because I am very privileged with the color of my skin. And so we have a lot of work to do here, people. We have a lot of work to do. So July's Resistance Book Club reads are going to be How Fascism Works and How to Stop Fascism. These will be really great books to go along with this month's readings, because I do believe we will eventually end up seeing fascist politics again. Donald Trump has done this twice. The first time was because it wasn't as bad as this time because he didn't have his plan together. So now they have their plan together. But I imagine we will continue to see them using these fascist politics. So we need to know what to look for and we need to be educated about it. So please join our Resistance Book Club. And I hope to get weekly newsletter updates out and hopefully maybe weekly videos on what we're learning in the chapters. And I want to have it all laid out with what we're reading for week to week so that you have a basic plan of a goal on what to read. And I want to say thank you for joining me today. I hope you sign up for our book club. We have so much to learn here. We have so much to work. We have so much work to do here in America. I'm sad to see what is happening to our country, but we have to keep fighting. There's nothing else we can do. That's our only option. We have to fight. So until the next update, I will see you again.